This is a bug that you cannot see, but you're in the middle of the jungle where you can see the most beautiful and huge and amazing creatures and the most beautiful plants. What you can't see is what becomes very troublesome, not what you can see.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Blakely Nixon. I'm the Communications and Events Coordinator at the Validate Network. Validate is a growing community of over 1,000 vaccine researchers. Our members are all working across 400 institutions in 79 countries towards vaccines for our three main pathogens that we focus on, including mycobacteria, which causes diseases like tuberculosis and leprosy, amongst other things. Burkholderia pseudomeliae, which causes melioidosis, and the disease we're going to talk about today, Leishmaniasis. And today with me today is Dr. María Adelaida Gómez. She is a brilliant Leishmaniasis researcher from CDM in Colombia, and Adelaida is going to host Validate's first ever in-person public event taking place in London at the Royal Institution on the 25th of February. It's called Chasing Parasites, the science behind the Leishmaniasis scar. And I thought it would be a good opportunity to sit down with Adelaida to talk a bit about Leishmaniasis, but also what our attendees can expect from the talk. So hello, Adelaida. How are you doing?
Hi, Blakely. Very good. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. So I am a Colombian scientist. I studied in Colombia and then I did my PhD in Canada, and then I came back because I've always wanted to work in Colombia and for the people in the region. And I am a microbiologist. I have always been in love essentially with microbes and these bugs that are microscopic that you cannot see, that can generate a lot of problems in human health. And I'm also a person that enjoys being with other people, and that's why I am so happy and looking forward to the meeting, hopefully, that we're going to have in February. Okay, so Leishmaniasis is part of a group of infectious diseases called parasitic diseases, and this is caused by a tiny little bug, a microorganism that you can only see through the microscope, that is um, inoculated to you via the bite of a fly, a small tiny fly as well. And this microorganism gets into your cells, some of the cells of your body, and it gets into some of the most important cells of your body, which are the ones that are there to defend you from pathogens and other microbial invaders, let's call them like that. And it essentially grows within the cells, and then once it grows, it can generate three different types of diseases. One that is observed in the skin. You can get ulcers that are more or less the size of a coin. You can see them in your arms, in your chest, in different parts of your body. There's also another type of disease that it causes that actually gets the parasite goes into your inner organs, the liver and the spleen, and it makes these organs inflamed, and so your belly becomes a little bit um, big, and essentially your immune system shuts down very strongly, and that is a very um, problematic disease manifestation. If you don't treat it, it can lead to death. And then there is a third manifestation which involves the mucosal sites. So essentially, the that goes to your skin can also go to the nasal mucosa. It can go also to the nasopharynx, and it lives in there, grows in these cells that I mentioned at the beginning, and then generates a lot of destruction in this area of the nose and the mouth, and it can become very complicated to treat as well. And of course, it generates difficulties in swallowing. You have very strong inflammation, and it's painful, etc.
So there were three types. I know because it's the one you're going to be discussing in the talk. There's cutaneous, which is to do with the skin. I'm trying to remember now. And then there's the visceral, which is literally internal. And is it mucosal? Mucosal?
Is the other one is
which is the
mucosal,
one that has
exactly.
me see. I'm already learning something. But what and then so leishmaniasis is the disease. Leishmania is the organism. What is a leishmania? Is it a bacteria? What type of
Right. So
organism is
it's
it?
great. It's great that you asked that because sometimes there's a little bit of confusion. So it's actually called a protozoan parasite. That's a mouthful, okay? But if we were in terms of size, from big to small, we would say the parasites, the protozoan parasites, then smaller bacteria, and then even smaller the viruses. But even though the protozoan parasites are like Leishmania are bigger than the viruses, you cannot see them with your eyes. You still need a microscope to be able to see them. But it's categorized as a parasite, as a protozoan parasite.
Okay, and it swims. It has a flagella
Oh
tail.
yes. So it's that's called the flagellum. So the parasite is found in different organisms. It can be found in flies, in some flies that are called the sandflies, which are tiny, tiny little flies. And when they are in the sandflies, they have this form that is elongated and has this tail that you mentioned, which is called the flagella, and it allows them to move inside the fly gut. But once they are inside the human, they lose that flagellum and then
Oh,
they become more roundish. And you see them inside our cells, the cells of our immune system, you see them very round, and you don't see the tail anymore.
and just for our viewers at home, the fact that it goes into the cell, we call that intracellular, and this is why Validate studies leishmaniasis as well as melioidosis and tuberculosis, because all of our pathogens, one of the things they have in common is they go actually into the cell and do their damage that way. Have I got that correct? Have I understood that correct?
Yes, and let me just say one thing that you touch upon there is that just imagine the cells in our body that defend us from the microbes and the pathogens are the cells of the immune system. And Leishmania is so intelligent, if you want to say it some way. I mean, they don't have a brain, but these are amazing bugs. It's able to infect those same cells that are supposed to defend us. So it's like getting into the castle immediately and having the castle as its own house. So tackling these intracellular parasites, especially those that live within the cells of the immune system, is extremely difficult. And that's why, in addition of it being important for healthcare, it's also amazingly interesting in the sense of the biology itself.
Whereabouts is leishmaniasis? Am I at threat from it up in Oxford in the UK?
So at the moment, it's not a threat in Oxford in the UK at the moment, okay? But usually leishmaniasis is found in the tropical areas and subtropical areas, so you will find it a lot over South America, Colombia, Panama to northern Argentina, and towards Central North America, towards up until Mexico and the South states of the United States. And you find it, of course, in Africa, in Asia, but in the tropical latitudes of the continents. But climate change has allowed the fly that harbors the parasite to move to different places, especially to move further north. So now we see places like southern United States, like some areas in Texas that are now endemic or where the parasite is now common to see, as we can see as well in places like the Mediterranean. So you ask me Oxford. Oxford, no, because Oxford is way too north. But if you were to go, for example, to Spain, or you were to go to southern Italy, then you will find the parasite there. So it's not as far as we think it is. Yes, so there are some drug options. There are very few. Most of the options that are used are by injections, and they are injections that usually you have to take on a daily basis for over 20 or 28 days, depending on the type of leishmaniasis that you have. There is one that is oral, it's much better, but it's still quite toxic. So the problem with the drugs is that although they are available, they are extremely toxic and they are very difficult to get to the people that actually are affected by the diseases.
And that's where vaccines come in, because I'm guessing it's a little bit easier to administer.
Indeed, indeed. It's not only easier to administer, but it's just usually once in a lifetime intervention that will give you protection for life. And that's really the most important thing, that you don't have to worry about these infectious diseases throughout your life. Oh, so what can you expect? You can expect being transported to the places where leishmaniasis happens. You will be transported in different ways. You will be transported in your mindset to see these beautiful areas where the jungle and the nature concur, and where these infectious diseases are present everywhere. You will be transported to the life of the patients. What is it that they have to live to have access to the healthcare, or to have access to the drugs, or actually what it means to have these diseases in these areas? Um, you will know whether this is problematic or not for the individuals, for the communities, and you will also go through the trip of an investigator that is interested in the well-being of communities affected by these infectious diseases, and everything that us as researchers learn, not only from our work, but from living and having interaction with the communities. It's the most rewarding thing of what we do, I would say.
Oh, that's great. So we'll look forward to that. And I'm sure wherever I post this video, you can find information about how to register. And you can also find out about how to join Validate. If you're a researcher or even an early career researcher or a PhD student interested, you can join Validate. Find the details wherever this video is posted. But thank you very much, Adelaida.
Let me just say one last thing. Just keep this in mind. This is a bug that you cannot see, but you're in the middle of the jungle where you can see the most beautiful and huge and amazing creatures and the most beautiful plants. What you can't see is what becomes very troublesome, not what you can see. So I hope that in the talk that I'm going to give, you can experience that what you can't see is what ends up being causing trouble.